Well, the American letter that you mentioned really is the most overt threat to come so far since the beginning of this war, so it's over a year now, from Israel's American ally about arms supplies. And even there it's sort of implied, it's not really spelled out. But the fact that the Americans are saying this finally has had an impact here, and we've already seen it in the way that the Israeli army has allowed in the last 3 days to supply convoys to go through to northern Gaza. So that has an impact. I think that what Mr. Starmer said today hasn't really resonated here. I mean, we are on the eve we've just began the Israeli festival, the Jewish festival of Sukkot, so it hasn't really made much headlines. And let's not forget, it's Britain. It's not a major country in international affairs.
That'd be absolutely true, but it's quite unusual for any of the Western countries to single out people like Mr. Ben-Gvir and say, we are going to go for you, we're going to freeze your assets, we're going to sanction you. That's something that very rarely happens.
It's rare, and first of all, the British government has yet to do it. So far, we've just heard a warning. If it does happen, and I think especially if it spreads not just Britain, but also other Western countries, and especially the United States, it will finally show that there are countries which are allies with Israel. Britain does have a very close security relationship with Israel. There's a lot of military cooperation, intelligence sharing, etc. That there is that they are willing to differentiate and say we support Israel in general. We think that Israel's security is something that we need to help, and we need to bolster, and it's a two-way relationship. Britain gets a lot out of Israel as well in security relationship, but there are various figures within the Israeli government, especially on the far right, that Britain not only doesn't want to work with, and those ministers, Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, are persona non grata in London. If they were to land in London, they wouldn't get any meetings with any government official in Whitehall. But we're even prepared to sanction them. Now, I think that would have some kind of effect on Israel and on Israeli policy, but let's see if the British government is actually prepared to do it.
Let's see about that. Time will tell. Let me just circle back to what the Americans said, because this is something they have never quite done in this way before. Is there some sort of sense of shock about that, people you're talking to in Israel?
Well, I think most of the people I've spoken to so far, I think, saw it coming, and in some ways were perhaps even surprised that it didn't happen earlier. The fact that there's been so much pressure from the Biden administration over the past year on various Israeli policies, and the Netanyahu government has withstood or ignored that pressure. You can choose the preferred word. I think that for many Israelis, especially those in the security establishment, has been a surprise that it hasn't happened until now. And with the exception of one shipment of bombs, we haven't really seen the Americans in any way go to that level of saying, well, we're not going to give you these weapons that you need for the war in Gaza, in Lebanon, for a possible airstrike now on Iran. And that it's coming now with Israel on the eve of an almost certain imminent retaliation to the Iranian missile strike from 2 weeks ago, 180 ballistic missiles. The fact that it's happening at this moment, I think it is significant.